April McClain Delaney narrowly won in Maryland's 6th congressional district. She defeated Republican and former state delegate Neil Parrott in November. She's also the wife of former Congressman John Delaney, who once held the same seat from 2013 to 2019. McClain Delaney also served at the top post at the U.S. Department of Commerce. The Congresswoman-elect reflects on her win, how she's preparing for the nation's capital, and how she plans to work across the aisle. What will being sworn in early January mean to you?
Can I tell you, I'm really humbled and, just very grateful to represent the 6th District of Maryland. It was a long race. Glad to be on the other side. But what it means is that I'm going to have a voice for the 6th District, and I'm going to hopefully bring some common sense, common ground solutions and, really lift up lives across the 6th District and hopefully make a difference in the national dialogue.
Speaking of national dialogue, you know that many Americans would like to see more new members of Congress, perhaps out with the old and in with the new. Well, you're going to be a new member of Congress. What are you going to be bringing to the table, not only for the 6th District, but for the country?
Well, you know what? I think I have a prism of being a mom of 4 daughters from 31 to 17, and I'm really focused on really the future for my daughters and for, all of our kids, and not only just about reproductive freedoms and some of the issues that we talk about as Democrats, but really thinking about how we can bring diverse stakeholders together to get things done on issues like affordable housing and, good paying jobs and infrastructure, something I worked on while in the Biden administration with respect to broadband.
Well, Congresswoman-elect, a lot of people would like to see really members of Congress on both sides of the aisle work together. What are some of the areas where you think both parties can get things done?
Well, I was in nonprofit for many years at a nonprofit called Common Sense Media that dealt with the health and well-being of kids. And I often said I was kid partisan. I wasn't Republican or Democrat. I was, there about kids. And I do think that there is growing interest in, privacy for our kids online. I think that is something that almost happened with COSA and some of the legislation that's there now. So I think some bumpers and safeguards on big tech, while also understanding all of the great things that can benefit from it. I also think that there's a lot of, within the 6th District, but across the country, I do think that we need to increasingly look at infrastructure still with our bridges, with our roads, with broadband, and creating more good paying jobs. And then I just think that there is a growing recognition that we do have a big deficit. Obviously, it is something that we're going to have to tackle, but we're going to have to do something with respect to our funding sources in terms of how do we come together to relook at all of the things that we're spending money on, but also make sure that we leave no one behind and that there is, an inclusive, equitable future for all of our kids. I do think that there is some bipartisanship there. And the last thing I'll say is I came in with a lot of new members from orientation, and there were a lot of Republicans that I spoke to at orientation that were like, we're not flamethrowers. We want to really work together to figure out how we can get things done. And so I think that there is a growing appetite for some common sense, common ground legislation.
Congresswoman-elect, you won a very close race in the 6th District. And of course, President Trump is reelected. Is there a message that you take from not only his reelection, but the fact that the 6th District was very tight? What message does that send to you? And what message do you think that sends to your party?
Well, I think actually I outperformed my district. Former Governor Larry Hogan, was at the top of the ticket in the 6th District. Trump was at the, and Biden were and Harris were at the top of the ticket. And I was able to actually move forward because I focused on kitchen table issues. I focused on our economy. I focused on affordable housing. I focused on, fixing 270. But I think the blueprint for really many of these battleground states and for many of us who want to get things done is just to listen to our constituents, to show them, everyone on both sides of the aisle, respect, and to, really, drive consensus. I think that is the blueprint, and that's what I'm hearing. And I think that's why I won, and I think that's why most of those who are in purple districts were able to squeak out a win.
Congresswoman-elect, thank you so very much for joining us.